This is a follow-up to my previous video discussing the value of patience and persistence in the process of saving. In that video, I gave an example of a saver who simply bought a quarter ounce of gold every month for 35 years. By the end of that 35 years, an inventory accounting would reveal that the saver had managed to accumulate more than 100 ounces of gold. 105 ounces to be exact. A subscriber and friend of mine observed that I used gold in that example and not silver. It was a great observation and one that I believe is worth a follow-up. Both metals will certainly work for my thought-based analysis. I chose to use gold because most of the interactions that I've had with people, especially silver enthusiasts, indicate that people view that the accumulation of 100 ounces of gold is an impossible feat. This mental bias tends to create a false mental barrier to the accumulation of gold. Considering that the median U.S. household earns $4,300 per month, the purchase of a quarter-ounce gold eagle will represent about 7.5% of that income. When viewed in that light, the purchase of a single quarter-ounce eagle per month certainly is within the reach of the median household if there is enough desire to make that 7.5% commitment. The key is that the will and the persistence must be there. If a family or a person can make that commitment to buy a single quarter-ounce eagle once per month, then over a working career of 35 years, in the end, that family or person will have amassed 105 ounces of gold. In other words, what has been expressed to me as an impossible task is ultimately doable for anyone who has the will and the patience to make it happen. But the same process will certainly work with silver. The same level of commitment, about 7.5% of the median household income, can be used to purchase some silver once per month instead of gold. Instead of buying a quarter-ounce gold eagle, the saver could purchase 17 one-ounce silver American eagles. It's the same amount of money, so both tasks should be equally challenging. At the end of 35 years of sacrifice, the saver will have accumulated 7,140 silver eagles. Assuming the gold to silver ratio doesn't change and premiums stay where they are, then the resale value of the silver eagles will be very similar to the resale value of the gold eagles. In current dollar terms, the accumulated wealth will be just north of $125,000, which is about 60% of the current median U.S. home price. Of course, one has to wonder how it is that putting aside such a large percentage of income for 35 years won't even cover the cost of the average house, but that's a different topic. So we can see that if one has an inclination to save in precious metals, that both gold and silver can work. Accumulating 100 ounces of gold should be no more difficult than accumulating 7,000 ounces of silver. Of course, there's one big difference at the end of a long enough time frame. At the end of 35 years, the wealth accumulated in gold will weigh about 7 pounds and will occupy a space of a cube measuring 3 inches to a side. By contrast, the silver will weigh close to 500 pounds and will occupy a space of a cube measuring nearly 2 feet per side. This may or may not be an issue. Anyone who has the discipline to defer enough consumption to achieve the wealth accumulation goal will probably not be too troubled by the amount of storage space required by the silver. Keeping it hidden may be a bigger challenge. Of course, the weight may be a bigger issue. If our saver finds himself or herself moving, either by choice or by compulsion, then they'll probably want to move the silver themselves rather than trusting it to someone else. This can be a pretty difficult task. 500 pounds just simply is not as mobile as 7 pounds, and 8 cubic feet certainly won't fit inconspicuously in a backpack. With this in mind, we can see why the very wealthy of the world might have a preference for gold over silver. Imagine this problem multiplied by orders of magnitude. And if the very wealthy of the world perceive that the monetary disaster is right around the corner, which metal are they likely to seek out with the credit-based fiat money that they are trying to protect? You can own the very metal that they are going to want, and that is why I used a quarter ounce of gold per month in my earlier video. Just some food for thought.